Silent one.
Game Bits.
Game Bits.
Silent one.
I want to tell you about Valiant Hearts: The Great War. It's a puzzle adventure game by Ubisoft Montpellier and came out back in 2014. The game has a unique and beautiful art style that perhaps reminds most of a comic book. And there's definitely some humor throughout the game, but the setting certainly is not comical. As 4 human characters and a dog, you play through the hardship and horror of the First World War without ever using a gun, just some grenades. The story is much more about the lives of innocent people that are involuntarily enlisted into the army or otherwise get caught up in the war and have to survive as best they can. The Great War was arguably the most grueling war mankind has ever seen. Stuck in trenches, soldiers were bombarded and gassed for the first time in history. Swords and horses, which had been held in high esteem up until that point, lost their power to the machine gun. Fighting had to be reinvented. But not only on the battlefield was this a war of unknown proportions. It was also the first time that those that stayed at home were heavily affected. Everyone became involved in the war effort, making bombs or tending to the wounded returning from the trenches. Many countries even lost an entire generation of young men. So even after the war, the hardship was not over. It is those people that were dragged into the war that take the center stage in Valiant Hearts, the brave innocents. In the game, you come across many historic locations, events, and other details. And the great thing is that the game will tell you all about them, using historical letters, artifacts, and photographs from the time period. And in the collection of these documents, Ubisoft was aided by documentary makers of Apocalypse World War I and Mission Centenaire, so they had access to great archives. And even the stories of the fictional characters are based on wartime letters. So you're not only playing with the past, but also, in a way, reliving it. This is why I like the game. The story is emotional and touching, while the gameplay is fun and sometimes challenging. The historical atmosphere, so derelict, muddy and foggy, is brought to life with beautiful color schemes and cartoon styles. I think it is a perfect example of the past at play. Don't want to spend all your money on games, but still want to experience playing with the past? Book a free session at the Past at Play Lab. Click the link in the description and go to pastatplay.com.
Nice.
Past at Play.